before we start getting to know each other too much. Okay, so Clay Staub put this out there. He said, "Nice to see an old friend," and he brought the Flying Fox.
Wait. Didn't the Flying Fox got destroyed in Justice League?
Yeah, but that. According to according to an influencer out there, this makes ESJL canon. But we'll find out.
It is canon.
I think it is, but we'll see how it's played out. Oh fuck, he's got his own.
This is a great dodging of the question.
No. Well, and now we know also that Andre has been DMing Film Junkie.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, anyway, spicy DMs, baby. Ooh.
I know. Here, you want to see it? No. Okay, so
that's what he said.
I hate you can't make that go away either. It's like, can you just make that go away?
No, you can't.
No, you can. You have to undo it and then just like hit messages and whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway. Okay, so right here, he goes, dude, I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck Batman. It's really disheartening that we will not see Joe Manganiello Deathstroke and Batman movie. What? Can you at least ask someone to provide a script? Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So he was like, I'm sorry, but I don't own a script. It's owned by WB, whatever. And so then Batman: The Last Goodbye, I guess this is maybe a film he's working on, I guess. He goes, well, Jay Oliva, we are working on it. Like, we got this one. We started a little trend called the hashtags. And Zach said, hopefully cooler heads would prevail. So he's taking a statement that he said in the past and using it towards their hashtag.
Completely in context.
Yeah. Either way, we are thrilled to see what you got up your sleeves with the upcoming projects. Okay, but this is my favorite part. Well, Jay Oliva, we're working on it. Like, hang tight, buddy. So then he goes,
"We got you."
He goes, "Thanks. Good luck with that, but I highly doubt it because WB will not want a competing universe studio to their main one. Plus, the licensing fees involved would be too high to make any business sense.
Yes,
unless they were buying the characters like Sony did to Spidey." Okay, and this said everybody. So that whole side of the fandom was like, "Oh, 6-minute abs," and so this guy Gene's Ghost, what the fuck that is? He goes, "But Jay, it's a multiverse, right? Gunn gets a sandbox, and Snyder gets his. James Gunn doesn't give a fuck about that. Anyway, he goes, yes, it's a multiverse, but who's going to pay it? Who's going to pay for it? A CBM costs $150 to $200 million plus to produce and takes at least 2 years to make. How is a streamer supposed to recoup the cost? WB isn't going to sell the ancillary rights like merchandising, etc. They won't own those characters forever." Right. And before we get to the next one, this guy replied. And where was it?
Yeah, like even if there was profits to make, eventually the movies would revert back to Warner Brothers, and like
yeah. But one of these guys was like, where was it? I don't know where it's at. He was like, just release it in theaters. Like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, cool. That's awesome. So this is the other response. He goes, and we all know that WB has plans for these characters, so they aren't going to take a deal like that.
Right.
Marvel sold Spidey during a time of bankruptcy. WB isn't there, and I doubt they would do such a deal in today's climate. So then this guy, The Last Goodbye, he goes, under normal circumstances, this is when Saggy really went off on. Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. However, it's no secret that WBD is broke and need money badly to fund Gun Slate. Like, how the fuck do you know that?
That's not true because they're making I Am Legend 2 and Constantine 2.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's our campaign to start a conversation with Netflix and WB. Then it's a win in my book, an honor to speak with you. And so Saggy took liberties with this one. Saggy, you want to tell me what you said about this?
Who's eating chips?
Oh yeah. So my response to that was, so you've seen WBD's financial books to know how
right.
And then it's like
he's like no, I watched Shil Abdul Rogues. They told me all about it.
And the funny thing, right? It's like, number one, have you seen the financial books at WB to know how deep in the red they are? No.
I read Geekosity for the articles.
But hold on, here's the thing. Even if that's the case, even if, say, WBD's in the red, okay, that they're financially hurting, which rumor has it they are, right? But that doesn't mean bankruptcy. There's a difference between being low on funds and being bankrupt. Marvel was literally going to go bankrupt. WBD is not there yet. So
Well,
there's a
look at
huge
Fox.
difference.
Fox was bankrupt.
Well, and more than likely they would find other ways to do that than other to sell the characters because they've already had precedent for knowing what that's like to one day try to get all their characters back.
Right. But here's the thing too. If they were, say for argument's sake, say WBD was going bankrupt. They were about to go bankrupt and they needed to save their company. They would sell their IPs not to Netflix. No, they would. They'd sell
They'd be
their
out on a corner. I got an IP for you, baby.
But they would. They'd sell their IPs not to Netflix. They'd sell the IPs to like Sony or whatever other company that would be big enough to produce.
I mean,
I
don't know what they would do because I don't work in that industry,
Right.
so I can't make a educated guess on who they would sell it to. But I mean, when you hear this kind of statement coming from Jay Oliva, it's kind of like, okay, so if he's saying that, right, and other people in the industry are saying the same thing, right, it's kind of like, okay, it's obvious that this is kind of direction it's going to go. Now, if it does happen, I'd be thrilled. I'd be like, great, that's awesome, right? That's great. But according to Jay Oliva, it makes perfect sense here. Why would Gunn and DC and Warner Brothers, for that matter, why would they say, hey, let's lease out not just Batman, but let's lease out the entire fucking Justice League and all the characters connected to them and let Zack finish the story on Netflix. And then while we do our own reboot. Right. So we're actually going to compete with ourselves.
Yes.
And then if they like that better, it doesn't make any sense.
Andre.
William and I had this debate on the phone earlier tonight because William is in the camp that he feels like it's improbable, but he sees a way that it could be done. But he tried to tell me that it would cost under $450 million total, that it wouldn't be like the Lord of the Rings deal with was Amazon. And I told him, I said, I got to disagree with you here. I said, first of all, the licensing fee, right? What is the licensing fee going to be for all those characters and for all this stuff? And he's like, well, the licensing fee is really not that bad because they're already going to be licensing like other things and stuff like that, so they could roll it in. I said, well, what do you think a licensing fee would cost? And he goes, well, there's no way for me to know. I said, okay, but you got a number in your mind, obviously, if you think it's going to be under $450 million for the whole shebang. So what do you think it's going to cost? He says, I don't know, $30 to $40 million. I said, BS. I said,
that is like
30 to 40 million.
I said, there is no way. There is no way. So I said, listen, I will meet you on this. I'm going to say 70 million. And I think that's still like the lowest. Like the lowest, right?
What?
But I said, I'll give you 70 million. I said, now, how much do you think the production cost on Justice League 2 and 3 is going to cost for them? And he says, total 300 million.
Nope.
And I said, BS.
No.
Dude,
like
there is no way. There is no way that they're going to get those two movies done for $300 million. No. And he goes, well, they got stagecraft and stuff. I said, no, because Zack is not going to do it cheap. Zack is not. No. If Zack came back to do it, Zack's going to do it right. Right? Yeah. I mean, can we all agree with that? I mean, like
hey, let's cut the budget in half and I'll make it. No, he's
right. He's not going to do that. He's been down that route. So hold on. Let me finish where we went because we got to there. I said, okay. So I said, listen, even if I give you these ridiculous numbers and you give me the 70 million, which is low end, and I give you the 300 million, say that's the cheapest, like they literally just like they shoot it literally the entire movie on Zack Snyder's driveway. Okay. With a green screen. And they do it for $300 million. I said, we're already at $370 million. Now, how much do you think, because Zack has said, yeah, I did Zack Snyder's Justice League for free. I'm not doing anything else for free.
Yeah, he's not going to do it for free.
Right? So what are you going to pay Zack Snyder? Then you have to get back. Think about all the people that are in, all the characters that are in there. You have to get back Ben Affleck. You have to get back Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Ray Fisher. You have to get Jason Momoa. You have to get Amy Adams. You have to get Joe Manganiello. You have to get Jesse Eisenberg. You have to get Ray Porter. I said,
Like
what do
you
you
have-
think? What do you think that alone, just those Jay Leto or Jared Leto? You have to get Jared Leto. Jared Leto's in it.
Jay Leno.
That's how they're gonna do it. That's how they're gonna do
Oh,
it.
he's
Hold on,
shooting
hold
the
on. That's how they're gonna do it. They're not gonna get Jared Leto. They're gonna get his impersonator, Jay Leto.
Oh, the answer.
Jay Leno. They're gonna
Jay
pay him
Leno.
Doritos.
Okay, but no, you know what I mean. So you have all those actors, and then God knows whatever. Because I know that I'm missing some people, right? But like all those actors alone, I said
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne, right? I said, William,
Granny
how much do you
goodness.
think? How much do you think all those people are going to cost? I said, because you're telling me $450 million
You gotta
max,
cut characters, cut
right?
them out.
I said, we're already at 370. You really think that you're going to get them for under $100 million? All those people? No, with Zach and everything, and I said the production company, I said they still have to make the movie. Like
You
there's
got a much better chance of getting the Ayer cut released because it's
Right.
actually a finished. Well, it's a
Or back
mostly
row.
finished product.
And I said,
It's film.
and he said, well, look, they only spent $500 million for Lord of the Rings. I said, exactly. And I said, and Lord of the Rings was one of those things. I said, I don't really know what they're doing with Lord of the Rings now. I said, but because I've never been a fan of Lord of the Rings, but I said, I get
But
that,
there was
right?
no one
Because-
attached to those.
It was
things.
3
Right,
movies,
but
though.
they're
It was
doing
$500 million for 3
Yes,
movies.
but they're doing the Lord of the Rings thing. I said, but Lord of the Rings is a classic, proven commodity, right? That's
That's an IP.
That's an IP,
it's a
right?
That's an
different
IP.
That's an
conversation.
IP.
Yeah.
I said, look, as much as I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, as much as I love Batman v Superman,
Yeah.
as much as I love Man of Steel, I don't know that you have the support for that to justify north of $500 million for 2 movies.
I think you have a better
I
chance. of-
completely understand that. What's the rest
Saggy-
of James
Saggy
Gunn's
wants to
question?
Well,
it's a movie
William
that
told
everyone
me
likes
that it's less likely that it would go to Netflix and more that it would go to Amazon because Amazon will just do anything. I
But
said
that's-
no.
Well,
At some point, that budget is going to be so
I think
bloated that
it's not an
somebody's
IP.
going to have to look
I
at it
think
and
at
go,
this point, if
no.
it were to
IP.
happen, it'd
Not
be
an
most
IP.
likely animated. Like even if
Yes.
it's possible,
Yes.
because then you don't have to use the original actor.
You would
and
have
you can just
a
finish
much
the story.
You
And
have a
I
much
want
better
it.
chance. You have a much better chance if the hashtag was licensed Batman or Batfleck to Netflix, and then you're just licensing the Batman character to do a Batman movie. That's totally different. Okay, because then you're talking about a set of characters that belong to Batman as opposed to the entire fucking Justice League.
Guys,
Well, and you were
Yeah,
right.
they're
You were
okay.
right. You were
Wait,
right, Andre.
wait,
You were right, Andre.
wait.
Because there's already people that I've seen tweets from that like, why would Jay Oliva is right because the thing is like immediately there would be comparisons. Immediately there would be a back and forth between which one's better because they're the same characters that they're trying to launch, right? And I said, and it's not fair because you're literally you're not making a new thing with these characters to say, oh, well, it's not going to really compete. You are literally taking the old DCEU, the old main continuity, and continuing it on. So I said, I've already seen people tweet things like, oh, come on, James, let us have, the Netflix deal so that we can have ours, like this tweet that we just saw. It's a win-win for everybody. But then in the same token, they go, and then James Gunn, you can have your woke DC as much as you want and crap all over it as much as you want. Like, that's the attitude of people already. Like, if you give them this, and I want this, but it just it's not probable. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, well, they could license the characters. It's just not that simple.
Enosh, you're missing the point.
Okay.
The point is, James Gunn said it can't happen. Jay Oliva said it couldn't happen. A lot of people who work in the industry said it wouldn't happen, but it's just their opinion. So it
But
doesn't
James
matter.
Gunn also lied when he said that he talked to Zack Snyder. and Zack
Exactly.
didn't.
Oh, yeah,
He's
he's a
they're
liar.
all
He
lying.
lied.
I have
Listen.
a take on that.
Listen,
sure
hold
you
on.
do.
Before you get your
No,
take,
If it's
my-
anything,
Oh,
if it's
my-
anything, if it's
Oh,
anything
my
other, if it's
God.
anything other than James Gunn actually had a conversation with Zack Snyder, it's BS.
No,
Listen,
I
guys, no.
speculate that if James, sorry, Saggy, I just got to get this out.
Go
Get it
ahead.
off my chest. If James Gunn did actually talk about Zach about potential DC projects, I think James Gunn would be talking about potentially Zach doing something in his slate for his vision, not for Zach to finish his.
Exactly.
And that's
Yes.
why Zach had none of it. Is my opinion. I am just speculating. I don't know exactly what was said, but
here's my
obviously
thing.
that doesn't mean he doesn't want to do anything altogether. If he comes back, he'd probably want to finish what he started.
Here's my thing, right? People who work in the industry clearly don't know anything about the industry. YouTubers
Right, yes.
and people on Twitter
And scoopers.
know more
know the
about the
best.
industry than the people who work in the industry. So, like, let's just be realistic here.
Guys who seem nervous at
better.
Comic-Con pictures and hover their arm over female actresses.
Yep.
Right. Let me just say. I'm just saying.
We're in like
people in the
satin
industry-
shirts.
Right. People in the industry,
Maybe
they
a
don't know what
satin
they're
shirt,
talking about.
Andre. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a satin shirt
I
here or
don't know,
there.
It's not a bad idea to do the hover hand.
People who stream from their bedroom.
Oof. No, they don't know. Listen, these YouTubers, these scoopers, guys, they know more about the industry and business than the people who work in the industry and business. That's just what it is. So,
Okay, so Sag,
Oh, God, what is this?
not to cut you off, but so
God.
I retweeted Jay Oliva's tweet and I said, I'm all, dude, we've been saying this for weeks now. And so somebody replied and said, well, dude, Peter Safran said that they're open for business and that they're open to having shows on Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix. It's kind of like, and I said, I was like, here's the problem though, is that you don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
You don't know if he's talking about the Justice League. You don't know if he's talking about what's
The
it
Cape
called?
Crusader.
Sandman or
Right.
Sweet Tooth. You have
Chip,
no idea.
Chip,
you
the Green Lantern.
Right.
You
Like-
can't assume that. Oh well, if he said that means it's a possibility. And I'm sure if you would have Peter Safran said, "Hey, would you license out the entire Justice League to Netflix?" He'd be like, "Why would I do that for? Like, wait, what are you talking about?" So this was used as an example. But again, what we're doing is we're taking someone's comment, right, and we're applying it to a narrative.
Yes.
Like, well, look, he said it. He said, but like the idea of we like the idea of having shows on Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix. There it is, but it's not the same thing. It's like, come on, use common sense.
Right.
I don't know.
Like
And there's
they
really,
can-
and I'll say this, and I've said it before in my show. There are actually really good people that are a part of this whole like hashtag event, and for that, it's like, there's good people in there. Okay. But
Oh
unfortunately,
no,
a lot of bad people.
Look.
But Darth Scipio. But here's the thing. These wouldn't be cameos.
Who
If you do
cares?
Justice
Who
League 2 and
cares?
3, I told William, what's Justice League 2 supposed to be, right? Andre was just part of Project Justice League. You got the nightmare scenario, right?
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot of
it.
shit.
So the whole thing is CGI, man. The whole thing is pretty much CGI. You got
Here's the last
Darkseid.
one. Here's the last one that I'm sharing. And so I was sent this image earlier, and I thought, okay, well, hey, look, if he was there, and I'm being fucking 100%.
Oh my God!
I was like,
again.
I was like, if he really showed up, that's awesome. And so I asked him, I said, hey, was this you? And he replied, nope.
Yeah, we know that. We know.
And then
that.
to make things worse, this is actually a tweet from Saggy, and she applied this gift to go along with it, which I was like, oh man.
I think it was Caden.
No.
I think that Wayne car was Caden.
No, it was definitely.
Oh,
Anthony.
definitely me. Yes.
No.
Well, the
Well,
best
you
part
look
about that.
Wait,
The best
wait,
part
you-
about this, though, right? The best part about this is, I guarantee you, it was
You
one
mean
of
this
those
isn't
numbnuts
James
on the
Gunn?
panel.
I feel
Hey,
Andre.
Exactly. Like
What?
Andre, I feel
down.
like the Phantom Menace of this tweet.
You said Phantom
God.
Menace.
Yes. I feel like the Emperor Palpatine behind it.
Well, the
I was
thing
saying,
is
listen.
that-
So I got to get to sleep soon, everyone. Go ahead,
Speaking
Saggy.
of Phantom Menace, I literally on my stream today, I literally called this movement because you know how everyone used to shit on Phantom Menace. I'm like, if you guys want
No.
Phantom, hold on, pause.
No,
Why would you
never.
highlight
Never.
Justin? I'm like,
does
if y'all
that?
thought Phantom Menace was bad, this movement is like Phantom Menace on friggin' bath salts. Okay, that's like on bath salts.
And no sleep.
It's because all these people have sabotaged and hijacked the entire thing. It used to be when the Snyder Cut came out, and a lot of us were saying, "Hey, restore the Snyderverse," right? We were saying, "Hey, we'd love to see the Snyderverse continued," and yeah, we were disappointed when we saw like the articles coming out saying, like, no, we're not going to do it and everything like that. And so yeah, we got a little bit of that kind of righteous indignation about it, but nobody was at that point in the main system of things, making threats. Nobody was, making things, that we were going to, go sabotage people or whatever, making outlandish claims or whatever. We were voicing our opinions. We were doing streams together. We were voicing our opinion of what we would like to see. And we were hoping. Nowadays, all these people have sabotaged this. They've hijacked it, and they've lost the plot of what it is. They don't even remember what we were trying to get the Snyder Cut for. It's all about them. It's all about, well, I will accept no other Superman than this. I will accept no other Batman than this. And they totally lose the plot that the Snyder Cut was not about us getting what we want. The Snyder Cut was about Zack getting retribution for what had happened to him, and most importantly for Zack, it was in recognition of his daughter. All this nonsense now about getting what I want or what we deserve and all this stuff, a lot of people have internalized it to them and made it about them, and now we got personalities running rampant throughout the whole thing. And grifting and stealing from people, and it's just it's wrong.
But on top of that, sorry, Saggy, but on top of that, you have this hashtag event, right? Which again is a perfect opportunity for you to also incorporate a fundraiser attached to this. That was not even in the equation.
No.
And so the last time anything was put together that was supposed to be big is like, remember the billboard that they made? And AFSP wasn't on there at all.
Yeah.
And it didn't even dawn on them. They were like, wait, what? Like,
that's a great point.
Andre,
fandom was built on that.
Andre, I literally had someone in my chat today when I was clowning on that AI thing. I had somebody in my chat. I love what Max did. Somebody was in my chat complaining. And they literally was like, I was like, well, where was this hype? You know what you guys should be doing if you support Zack so much? Why aren't you having this energy for Rebel Moon and hyping that up for everybody and stuff? And the person was like, I don't care about Rebel Moon. It's just a knockoff of Star Wars. I want him to do DC. I'm like, exactly. Mask came right off in my chat. Just gone. Like, yeah, that's Christ. Tell me you don't care about Zack Snyder without telling me you don't care about Zack Snyder.
I think a lot of them, will support Rebel Moon. At least I hope. And I don't have any doubt of that. But I mean, when you make it solely about, selling it to Netflix or licensing it to Netflix, but you don't have, because I mean, like, if you did a fundraiser at the same time, then you're at least saying, hey, look, we're rallying for this, and on top of that, we raised this much money for a great cause, because that's what this fandom was built on, and that's what this fandom has been all about. But they didn't do that. They instead just tweeted and sent videos of themselves.
You're right. Well, remember, Andre, when Zack said even if the movie had never gotten made, meaning the Snyder Cut, that what meant more to him was the money that was raised for suicide prevention.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the whole point, and people are missing that, and it's sad to see.
That's what's very offensive to me. And also, can we fucking move on and just forget about this bullshit?
Never.
It will never go away.
Good segue, because I have to get to bed.
The segue being, what's the movie that everyone else hates that you like? That
Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers.
All right.